Since Black Ops 4 launched, we've seen a total of 15 title updates released, from 1.01 all the way to our most recent patch in 1.15. Now these updates have changed a lot, from the way weapons work to how powerful certain specialists are to even how the physical game looks, for example, the Blackout map. So now, 15 updates later, how exactly does Black Ops 4 compare to how it was back before any of these updates went into effect? Today, we find out. What's up guys, Zach or Immortal here, welcome back to the channel and thanks for stopping by. If you're new here and you'd like to stay up to date with everything Black Ops 4 related, feel free to subscribe with your post notifications turned on, that way you'll always know when I upload a new video. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, definitely drop a like on it as it does really help the channel grow. And by the way, I seriously cannot thank you guys enough for the support as of lately. Really ever since Black Ops 4 dropped, in all honesty, you guys have just been going nuts with the likes and the comments and the new subscribers. So really, I just gotta say I appreciate it so much. It blows my mind completely. Anyways, let's jump into Black Ops 4 15 updates later. Now, for this video, we're going to be breaking down the weapons in specific, and if you guys want to see me go more in depth with this topic and take a look at other various elements of the game as well later on down the road, definitely let me know down in the comments below. Before we do jump into the details, I do want to also preface that not every single title update has changed the way that a certain weapon performs. However, a lot of these title updates have impacted the way either one weapon in specific functions or even the way an entire class functions. So by the end of this video, essentially what I'd like to do is build a top 10 weapons and class setups list as of the current meta. With that, we'll start things off in the assault rifle department, where upon release, Black Ops 4 had two weapons that dominated every single gunfight despite the range or type of engagement you may have encountered. And those two guns were the ICR and the Vapor. On day one, both of these weapons were incredibly powerful, as the ICR had the Grip 1 and 2 attachments available that gave it basically zero recoil, and with Quick Draw also available as an attachment, some of those gunfights you got into were over before they even started due to how easy it was to land your shots with that double grip attachment setup. Oddly enough, not much has actually changed with the ICR out of a reduction to the reload speed and a reduction to headshot damage in the 1.04 update, alongside a class-wide reduction to ADS move and ADS in speeds. With that, the ICR may not be as lethal as it was on day one, but as of right now, it's still a top 10 weapon in my opinion. Switching over to the Vapor, like the ICR, on day one, this weapon was a phenom on the battlefield. It had low recoil, it hit heavy, and had a decent rate of fire with the rapid fire attachment equipped. In response to the Vapor being so dominant, it was also nerfed in the 1.04 update, receiving a slower ADS movement and ADS in speed, alongside a reduction to close range headshot damage and a closer damage fall off range. But fast forward a few updates, and in the 1.13 patch, the Vapor got a slight update, increasing its 5-hit kill range from 34 yards to 50 yards, and its ADS idle sway was also improved. For some reason though, this update made the Vapor feel a lot stronger, and with the right setup, it can be incredibly dominant, also making its way into my top 10 weapons as of right now, which, by the way, we'll be ordering and dissecting class setups for as we get further on into the video, so stay tuned for that. Continuing on though, the Rampart is another weapon that lands in the top 10 for me as of right now. However, at launch it was no such beast. The Rampart though has never actually been nerfed, individually at least, and over the course of the last 15 updates has only been buffed on a few separate occasions, including reducing its first and third shot recoil, increasing its 4-hit kill range, and most recently, the max range damage was also increased by about 5 yards, making the Rampart, especially with double high cal, extremely lethal. To glance away from the assault rifle category for the time being, let's take a look at the Swordfish, which by all means was never a bad weapon so to speak, but in recent light it has become an absolute laser beam. The ADS move speed was actually nerfed a little bit in a game settings update back in February, and was one of the few times this weapon was actually touched since launch, where it was always sort of a middle of the pack weapon. But with the buffs the Swordfish recently received back in the 1.13 title update, including a reduce between bursts and a reduce in idle sway, quite honestly made this gun incredibly powerful. In combination with Pentaburst, the buffed Swordfish absolutely shreds as of lately, especially with a certain setup that we'll detail later on, but for now it definitely lands on my top 10 weapons in the current meta. Shifting focus over to the Titan, this is hands down one of my least favorite weapons in the game. However, it was incredibly strong and, in all honesty, still is pretty decent despite its multiple nerfs. And with that in mind, I believe the Titan is actually one of the most nerfed weapons in all of Black Ops 4, as it was nerfed in the 1.13 update, the 1.09 update, the 1.05 update, and also the 1.04 update. Despite all of these adjustments though, the Titan is still an absolute beast in quite a few scenarios, as it does really heavy damage with next to no recoil. But it still does remain one of my most disliked weapons, even though I do think it is still a top 10 weapon in the game as of right now. Switching back to assault rifles here, we've got the KN57, which I quite honestly think has been the sleeper weapon when it comes to Black Ops 4. This weapon has a plethora of attachments available for it, and when used together, certain setups can be ridiculously useful. While this gun isn't necessarily the most heavy-hitting assault rifle out there, it's got moderate to low recoil and a decent fire rate, meaning it's one of the most versatile weapons out there right now, and with its most recent buff in the 1.13 patch, where its max damage range was increased, the KN57 has only become more of a menace now in-game. Rounding out the assault rifles here is of course the Maddox, which means every single assault rifle, at least in my opinion, is in the top 10 weapons in BO4. The Maddox used to be the end-all be-all of weapons here in Black Ops 4 until it was slightly nerfed in the 1.13 update. However, some of those nerfs ended up being quickly reverted, making the Maddox usable but not nearly as dominant as before. However, the Maddox is still a prime choice for competitive players due to its fast fire rate and quick ADS time, solidifying its spot in the top 10 weapons as of right now. Transferring into submachine guns, we've got the SOG, another weapon which has been favored by the pros even after its most recent nerf, which drastically altered its lethality. In the 1.13 update, the SOG's move speed and sprint out times were reduced, but then altered and increased ever so slightly shortly thereafter. On top of that, stock 1 and 2 also became less effective as the ADS move speed was reduced for both of those attachments, but those changes were also quickly reverted to a certain extent. So despite the SOG still receiving a slight nerf in the end, it's still an SMG that will tear you apart close range, and for those SMG mains out there, it's a go-to still for sure. Next up in submachine guns, we've got the Cordite, which is currently one of my favorite weapons to use as it's a beast with pretty much any setup. The belt feed operator mod essentially grants you unlimited ammo, and even without the belt feed mod, the Cordite has an extensive magazine size allowing for multi-kills left and right. And when it comes to Black Ops 4's SMGs, the Cordite really is a force to be reckoned with. Finally, we've got the Auger, which to me takes the last spot in a yet-to-be-ordered top 10 list, just barely beating out the ABR due to its time to kill. To truly make the Auger an all-out beast, you gotta have High Cal 2, which deals increased damage to the head and also the upper body, allowing for the Auger to have the fastest time to kill in all of Black Ops 4. On top of that, in the 1.13 update, the Auger received a buff increasing the firing speed and the ADS move speed, and the double tap operator mod also got an improved firing time between shots, making this gun an all-out melt machine. Now we've got our top 10 weapons, but how do they rank when compared to each other? Here's my list of top 10 weapons in Black Ops 4 as of right now, and the best setup with each weapon respectively. At number 10, I've got the Titan with red dot sight, FMJ1, FMJ2, and stock. Although I'll have it noted once again, I truly do despise this class setup due to how often I run into it, but my feelings aside, this weapon still is pretty decent nonetheless. At number 9, I've got the Cordite with rapid fire, grip, long barrel, and if you'd like to add another attachment, extended mags. This has personally been my go-to class setup over the last couple of weeks. I think it's really solid, and I love the fact that you really don't have to worry too often about reloading, so that's a plus in my book as well. At number 8, I've got the SOG with stock 1, stock 2, quick draw, and grip. This is kind of my go-to class setup for league play, for pubs. All around, it's a solid setup, and the SOG is still a pretty decent gun. At number 7, I've got the KN57 with stock, grip, hybrid mags, and rapid fire, which, side note, is also one of my favorite setups as of right now. At number 6, I've got the Maddox with red dot or elo sight, whichever you prefer, alongside quick draw 1, quick draw 2, and stock. At number 5, I've got the Auger with red dot sight, high caliber 1, high caliber 2, and fast mags. At number 4, I've got the Swordfish with red dot sight, quick draw 1, quick draw 2, and the pentaburst operator mod, which honestly allows for one burst left and right, making this weapon incredibly dominant. At number 3, I've got the ICR with red dot sight, grip 1, grip 2, and personally, I like to use quick draw as my third attachment, but FMJ or long barrel is a solid alternative as well. At number 2, I've got the Vapor with elo sight, rapid fire, stock 1, and stock 2. And finally, in the number 1 spot, in my opinion, the best weapon in all of Black Ops 4 as of right now is the Rampart with red dot sight, high caliber 1, high caliber 2, and grip. This is a class setup that completely shreds through anything and everything, and with that, it shreds its way all the way up to number 1 in my opinion. And there you guys have it. That is Black Ops 4 15 updates later, and the 10 best weapons in the game as of right now. Of course, if you guys feel like there is a different weapon that should have made its way onto this list, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely drop a like on it, give it a big old thumbs up, it would be much appreciated. And if you are brand new here to the channel and you'd like to stay up to date with everything Black Ops 4 related, feel free to go ahead and subscribe with your post notifications turned on, that way you'll never miss another upload. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.